मेरी क्लास 2:30 बजे शुरू। मेरे को क्लास टाइमिंग नहीं चेंज करना था, जयेश सर को करना था, उन्होंने कॉमन मेल भेज दिया। मेरा ऑप्शनल होता है, वो 1:45 बजे ख़त्म होता है। 2:30 ही, that was a mistake done by Prashant. It was only meant for June batch. हाँ 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 हाँ, because of change of temperature. There is always a change of temperature of land to sea. Which, because it is more cooler, poles are more cooler and these are warmer. Not pressure. Pressure we will do isobars. This is only temperature, isotherms. Fine. So I'll quickly revising. What is doldrum? Tell me whether this is true or false regarding doldrum. Absence of winds in the regions of doldrums. Yes, true. Heavy rainfall. True. High pressure. False. It is an false. Now consider the following statements with horse latitude. This is a past year question. A horse latitude is a region, is a transition zone which is having no or very little winds and surface low pressure. True or false? फिर से मैं स्टेटमेंट रिपीट कर रहा हूँ. A horse latitude is a zone, is a transition zone which is having very little or no wind system, having surface low pressure. कहाँ पे मिस्टेक है स्टेटमेंट में? Surface high pressure, not a surface low pressure. Otherwise the conditions are same. What is the similarity between doldrums and horse latitude? कि दोनों में transition wind system है. It does not, transition zone, it does not have a wind system. What is the difference? Difference is horse latitude high pressure, this is a low pressure, doldrums. Second difference is because it is a low pressure, it will be rainy, and because this is a high pressure, wind is supposed to come down. Now we'll do in the tomorrow's lecture in humidity, when the wind comes down, uska moisture holding capacity increases and therefore there is absence of rain. So in the belt of horses latitude, there is absence of rain, and isliye we have deserts, that too on the western side. Why not in the eastern side? We'll see in the today's lecture. Thirdly, the fronts. What is the zone of fronts? What do you mean by fronts? Any region jahan pe winds will converge, but these winds are different winds. Contrasting winds, when they converge, it will result into the formation of fronts. So we have the frontal zone between 60 to 65. Why? Because it is the zone of convergence of cold and warm winds. So what is the name of cold wind? Polar easterlies. And what is the name of warm wind? Westerlies. Is the westerlies. क्यों winds के name ऐसे होते हैं? Winds के names are always there because of the direction where they originate. जिस side से wind is coming, वो नाम बन जाता है. If it is coming from north, west, south west or west, वो बन जाएगी westerly. If it is coming from any part of east, चाहे north east, south east or east, वो बन जाएगी easterly. So this is how the winds का names are given. Understanding this? अब you write one statement here. One statement before we go to the bit complex part, that is wind. The statement is all the pressure belts undergo shifting except polar high pressure belt. Except polar high pressure belt. Except polar high pressure belt. Now I am asking you some of the statements from NCERT chapter 10. Tell me true or false. Or if there is any doubt, you just tell me this where the doubt is. Winds redistribute the heat and moisture across the planet, thereby maintaining constant temperature for the planet. Winds will help in redistribution of heat and moisture. अगर cold wind is coming to the hot region, क्या होगा? Cold climate, what is going to happen now in the coming days? Cold matlab high pressure या low pressure? High pressure. So which part of India is going to experience snowfall? Himalayas or Great Plains? Himalayas. And therefore winds will originate in Himalayas, because the entire Himalaya belt will become high pressure. And these winds are cold winds. We are situated here, Delhi, and as a result winds will come downwards and they will bring cold waves. So just say there is a snowfall here, the winds will increase, high pressure to low pressure. क्यों हो रहा है? Because of pressure difference. Wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure. So the Arabian Sea is at low pressure, Bay of Bengal is at low pressure. Comparatively low है difference. Indian Ocean is at low pressure because Indian Ocean will take time to get heated, to get cooled, sorry. इसलिए cyclones originate हो रहे हैं, because cyclones can originate only on warm ocean surface जिसका temperature is greater than 27 degree Celsius. So recent one is Gaza. कौन से कोस्ट पे? ईस्टर्न कोस्ट, वेस्टर्न कोस्ट? ईस्टर्न कोस्ट. कौन से कंट्री ने नाम दिया? बांग्लादेश, श्रीलंका. श्रीलंका हैज गिवन द नेम. व्हाई? इससे पहले बांग्लादेश, तो क्या नाम था बांग्लादेश के साइक्लोन का? ओखी. So we will do this topic, the naming of the cyclones, later on. But we'll come to the topic that is winds. Then we'll do the shifting of the pressure belts. Now, how many types of winds are there? There are some winds which are present all over the world. Chahe anywhere in this world you will find this kind of a wind system, and you will call this wind as primary wind. और you will find this, मतलब इंडिया में भी जाओगे तो वो विंड है, यूएस में भी जाओगे तो सेम लैटिट्यूड्स पे वो विंड है. सो यू कॉल दिस एज द प्लैनेटरी विंड्स. और you will call this as the global winds. This is primary circulation. एंड इसका एग्जाम्पल्स आर जो कल हमने देखा, ट्रेड विंड्स, जिसको वी विल रेफर एज ट्रेड्स, ट्रेड विंड्स को ट्रेड्स, वेस्टर्लीज एंड ईस्टर्लीज. विच ईस्टर्लीज? पोलर ईस्टर्लीज. There are some kind of the winds which are modification of the primary winds, that is they derive the source of energy from the primary winds, but they affect different parts of the world. Maybe they affect only the smaller parts of the world, and therefore we will call them as secondary circulation, or we will call them as the regional winds. And iska example is Indian monsoon, which is going to affect only eastern part of Asia, not just India. It affects, monsoon is present in the entire eastern part of Asia, right from South China Sea to Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Myanmar, and then India. So ये पूरा जो eastern part है, this is known as the monsoon lands of Asia. आपको यही पूछा था 2017 के मेंस में, that is give the characteristics of Indian monsoon which affects the eastern parts of Asia. Last year का question. Actually that question is, many people got confused because the question में word था eastern parts of Asia. वैसे question is characteristics of Indian monsoon. वही monsoon है जो इंडिया में भी आता है, वही monsoon है जो लाओस, कंबोडिया एंड वियतनाम में भी the same monsoon is there. So इसका one example is the monsoon winds. And then there are some of the winds which are tertiary circulation. Tertiary because they affect only a small area of around 60 kilometers maximum, or only a small area of the world, and therefore we will call them as local winds. And we will study this local winds basically in two formats, whether they are the cold winds or whether they are warm winds. But before that, what are the factors that affect the wind circulation? Prepare this for mains answer. Factors affecting. इस सैटरडे को आपका इसका सब्जेक्टिव टेस्ट है, मंडे से लेके जो भी टॉपिक हुआ है सैटरडे तक. सो सैटरडे या संडे जब भी स्लॉट होगा खाली. फैक्टर्स अफेक्टिंग विंड्स. प्रिपेयर दिस बिकॉज ये ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल में क्वेश्चन है एंड मैं आपको न्यूमरस क्वेश्चंस ऐसे दिखाता हूँ जो पिछले साल ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल में आते हैं और नेक्स्ट ईयर जीएस में आते हैं. एग्जाम्पल इज क्रायोस्फीयर वाला क्वेश्चन, एग्जाम्पल इज मैंटल प्लूम वाला क्वेश्चन, एग्जाम्पल इज इस साल का IRNSS वाला क्वेश्चन. एज इट इज विदाउट चेंजिंग द वर्ड्स दे आस्क यू इन जीएस. सो prepare this. This has come recently. That is, what are the factors that affect the wind circulation. So
बच्चे का नामकरण क्या किया आपने? नामकरण क्या किया?
Quality Enrichment Program, QEP. So one of the first factor that affects the wind circulation is the difference in the pressure. Pressure difference, which is generally जो हमने कल देखा, that is winds always flow from high pressure to low pressure, and this is what is known as a pressure gradient force. Gradient is difference. The difference, greater the difference between high pressure and low pressure, stronger will be the velocity of a wind, because wind similar to water moves from water जैसे moves from higher height to lower heights, और जितना steep है slope उतना greater will be the speed of the water. वैसे wind always moves from high pressure to low pressure. अब पूरे इंडिया में देयर इज अ कोल्ड क्लाइमेट. द ओनली डिफरेंस इज ऐसे नहीं है कि इट इज़ एक्सट्रीमली हॉट इन वन पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया एंड इट इज़ एक्सट्रीमली कोल्ड इन अदर पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया. मोस्ट ऑफ इंडिया एक्सेप्ट फॉर द कोस्टल रीजन्स इज हैविंग विंटर्स एंड देयरफॉर everywhere there is a somewhat high pressure except the Kerala region, except the coastal regions. So इसीलिए इंडिया में अभी winds are very very slow. They are not that stronger winds. But the difference is there in the summer season when Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea is more relatively colder and India is very hot. So India becomes a low pressure. Why? Because sun is over India. As India becomes a low pressure, the pura area becomes a low pressure. So surrounding wind is high pressure and therefore this wind comes towards India. That is, the wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure. कभी कभी आपने देखा है some parts of the cities becomes so hot कि a low pressure center develops. यहाँ से हवा ऊपर चली जाती है and therefore the winds from the surrounding region will come, it will become hot and फिर आंधी आती है, the wind is thrown upwards. and ये difference, जिस दिन बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी है, you know that शाम को आंधी आ सकती है. There can be a heavy rainfall. You say this, there can be a thunderstorm. How do you know? Because you know basically that wind flows from high pressure to low pressure. The only thing is you have not studied it formally. Understanding this? Your parents also know that low pressure में there is a rainfall. क्योंकि हम कहते हैं हिंदी में बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी है, शाम को बारिश हो सकती है. What does it mean? कि शाम को the air will rise up and it will cause formation of clouds and then give the rainfall. So this is what is the pressure gradient force. A pressure gradient force is greatest in atmospheric phenomena such as cyclones. इसलिए cyclones come with very high speed. बहुत ज़्यादा pressure difference होता है in the cyclone. That is the pressure between temperate cyclone, tropical cyclone, between the central low pressure and outside high pressure is around 100 to 1000 millibars. 100 millibars का pressure difference मतलब 350 kilometers per hour wind speed. 1000 millibar का pressure difference मतलब 1000 to 1200 किलोमीटर्स पर आवर की विंड स्पीड, जो थैंकफुली इंडिया में नहीं आता, बट इट कम्स कॉमनली इन यूएसए एंड यू कॉल दैट फिनोमेना एज टॉर्नेडो. Typhoons are same like cyclones, they are tornadoes. Have you seen the movie Twister? So Twister देखना नहीं है movie, so don't write. So Twister is tornado. आज ही आया है report, too much of screen time will cause the brain damage. So this is what is the pressure gradient force. That is, wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure. So based on this, let us see what the map we had drawn yesterday. That is, this is the which belt? Equatorial low pressure belt. 0 to 10 degree, 0 to 10 degree. I will write this as the belt of doldrums, or it is also known as ITCZ. This is subtropical high pressure belt. Subtropical high pressure belt. This is subpolar low, or the belt of fronts. So I'll write this just as a frontal belt. Subpolar low, or the belt of fronts. So before I go further, ये है polar high. Is the cold increasing day by day? So that means, are we going to experience temperature inversion soon? So that means the fog is going to be very dense very soon. So based on this, let us see how do the three different types of winds flow. Wind should flow from subtropical high pressure to equatorial low pressure. Subtropical high pressure to equatorial low pressure. But wind will never flow in a straight line. Why the winds never flow in a straight line? Because the second force that affects the wind circulation is Coriolis force. Now what is this Coriolis force? Or a rotational force. Earth is rotating. In which direction the earth is rotating? Earth is rotating from west to east. And see how our earth is rotating. I am putting my pen. कौन से direction में जा रहा है? It is going to your right hand side or left hand side? Right hand side. Again, earth is rotating. अब कौन से direction में जा रहा है आपके? Look. It is going to my left hand side. So you will not understand आपके right hand side में, because we are not changing the direction. Now Coriolis force is this force what I have shown you. This is how the Coriolis force is in action. Any rotating object will have Coriolis force. Any object which moves in the north and south direction, including you, if you start running very fast, you will not go from one point to another in a straight line. If you are in the northern hemisphere, you will get deflected to your direction, right hand side. If you are in the southern hemisphere, आप straight नहीं जाओगे, you will be getting deflected to the left hand side. So this imaginary force is what is known as an Coriolis force. मतलब, if India today is planning to launch a missile, and suppose it wants to put a missile on Russia, and if it does not calculate the Coriolis force, ये मिसाइल स्ट्रेट नहीं जाएगी. ये स्ट्रेट, अगर हमने स्ट्रेट भेजी मिसाइल, बिकॉज द अर्थ इज रोटेटिंग, ये जाके नॉर्वे या स्वीडन को उड़ा देगी इंस्टेड ऑफ रशिया. सो टू इफ यू वांट टू पुट रशिया, वी शुड हैव Coriolis. We should calculate the Coriolis force. So what does the Coriolis force says? Coriolis force says any wind or any cyclone or any ocean current or any plane, any rocket, including your paper plane, घर पे जाके फिर से डालो, we are in the northern hemisphere, it will slightly go towards the right, but उसके लिए it should be properly designed. It will go slightly to the right. So it says that anything in the northern hemisphere will be deflected to the right hand side, and anything in the southern hemisphere will be deflected to the left hand side. in the direction of its movement. Understand, in the direction of the movement. I am again showing you the Coriolis force. This is how the earth is rotating and you can see कहाँ पे deflection ज़्यादा है, इक्वेटर पे या जितना मैं दूर जाता हूँ इक्वेटर से. The more far I go from the equator, can you see deflection is greater? The nearer I am to the equator, there is less and less deflection. Equator पे ज़्यादा deflection नहीं है, but if I go down away from the equator, there is more deflection. Now this is because Coriolis force is inversely proportional to the rotational speed of the earth. Rotational speed of the earth is maximum at the equator and it is minimum at the poles. Bulge सबसे ज़्यादा है at the equator, rotational speed is maximum at the equator, and therefore Coriolis force is minimum in the equatorial regions. So अगर कोई wind है in the equatorial regions, it will not deflect, it will move straight. इसीलिए दो equatorial regions are very very warm, tropical cyclone जिसके लिए deflection is necessary. Wind ऐसे गोल घूमनी चाहिए from the top, they do not originate at the equator. But let us see how this Coriolis force is acting. The Coriolis force does not act straight. The wind will never go straight, it will get deflected to the right hand side of its direction. And therefore, इसका right hand side कौन सा है? See the direction of arrow, face in the direction of arrow and see उसका right hand side. So it will get deflected to the right hand side. What does the Coriolis force say in the southern hemisphere? It will get deflected to the left hand side. So put yourself, face the way the board, and that is, which is your left hand side now. So it will get deflected to the left. Because this is facing your direction. This wind was facing my direction, my right hand side. That means you should put yourself in the direction of arrow. And therefore the wind will, instead of going straight, it will get deflected to the left. So these winds have direction from east to west, and therefore these winds are known as easterlies. Understanding? Why easterlies? Because what is the direction of these winds? This wind is from east to west, and therefore these winds are known as easterlies. But because older time में this winds, कल ही मैंने दिखाया UK से US. So you should fight this wind, avoid going to US, come into the belt of doldrums, then fight these winds, and then coming to India is easy. Therefore these winds are known as trade winds. Fine. So this is easterlies or trade winds. Have you understood this? क्योंकि सबसे ज़्यादा confusion ये है. Why? Because you think कि आप जिस direction में हो, that is right and left, not your direction. The direction in which the wind is moving. The second wind which should go is from subtropical high pressure belt to the subpolar low pressure belt. Subtropical high pressure belt to the subpolar low pressure belt. But what does the Coriolis force say? It will get deflected to the right hand side. So right hand side is facing you. So as a result of this, it will get deflected to the left hand side, facing me, my left hand side. Our arrow कौन सा direction में? So it will get deflected to the left. And therefore, these winds are known as westerlies. हमारा मानसून वेस्टर्लीज है या ईस्टर्लीज? Are we located between 30 to 35 to 60 to 65? Yeah, we are between 10 to 30. We are between 10 to 30. So हमारे इसमें easterlies होना चाहिए. Then how do we get the rainfall? Southwest monsoon कैसा आता है इंडिया में? Because remember, in climate, India is a special case. पूरे वर्ल्ड में देर इज वेस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम, इंडिया के ऊपर देर इज ईस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम. पूरे वर्ल्ड में देर आर ट्रेड विंड्स, इंडिया में स्पेशल काइंड ऑफ विंड है, दैट इज मानसून. पूरे वर्ल्ड में टॉर्नेडोज है, इंडिया में टॉर्नेडोज नहीं है. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? इंडिया के लिए लॉ डज नॉट अप्लाई. सो इन क्लाइमेट इंडिया के लिए देर आर स्पेशल केसेस हियर. पूरे वर्ल्ड में ऑल द ओशंस आर connected to the Arctic and Antarctic. Indian Ocean is the only ocean which is not connected to the Arctic and Antarctic. So this rules do not apply. This rules will apply. India में special case है, that is this winds will change the direction after crossing the equator. They will become then southwest monsoon. But these are westerlies. The third kind of a wind which is present, it is a cold wind. It should go from polar high to subpolar low. But being in the northern hemisphere, it will get deflected to the right. इस विंड का आप अभी कमाल देखोगे इन सम डेज. ये जो ब्लू कलर के विंड है, इट विल स्टॉप एंटायर यूएसए फॉर 3 to 4 days. इट विल कवर एंटायर यूएसए विथ थिक स्नो. 3 से 4 फीट स्नो पूरा बंद हो जाएगा यूएसए, इंक्लूडिंग न्यूयॉर्क, इंक्लूडिंग वॉशिंगटन. वाई? बिकॉज विंटर्स में दिस विल बिकम स्ट्रॉन्गर. इसको पिछले साल ट्रंप ने कहा था बॉम्ब साइक्लोन. उसने कहा था यू आर सेइंग यूएसए यहाँ पे बंद है. दिस वाज ट्रंप का स्टेटमेंट दैट पीपल आर सेइंग ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, यूएसए में देयर इज अ कूलिंग हैपनिंग, सो वी आर विड्रॉइंग फ्रॉम पेरिस एग्रीमेंट. सो दिस वाज द विंड विच मेड यूएसए विड्रॉ फ्रॉम द पेरिस एग्रीमेंट. इज सेइंग कहाँ पे है ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, वी आर तो अंडर थिक कवर ऑफ स्नो. सो दिस इज द विंड, दैट इज दिस इज नोन एज ईस्टर्लीज. But to avoid the confusion, we will call this as polar easterlies. Similarly, high pressure to low pressure, but it will get deflected to the left, your left. Sorry. And these are the polar easterlies. So this is how Coriolis force results into formation of different wind system, and because of the Coriolis force there are different type of climatic conditions in the world. For example, अगर ये wind straight जाती तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, but ये गर्म winds है which originate between 30 to 35 and goes to 60 to 65. मतलब they originate somewhere near India and they go near UK, making the climate of UK hotter than the climate which should be present at the latitudes. You will understand this over the period of time. That is, this lecture and tomorrow's lecture will be highly linked. Have the highest concentration level in this lectures, because winds अगर नहीं समझ में आया तो बाद में नहीं समझ में आता. This is linked to monsoon. This is linked to entire environment and ecology. That is, जब तक अभी हम rainfall खत्म नहीं करेंगे, all this will be linked to environment and ecology also, climate change, etc. So understood, this is the second force, that is the Coriolis force. Can I call Coriolis force as the deflective force? Yes, the Coriolis force as a deflective force. Now wind is a mass of air, and because it is a mass of air, if the air is lighter, warm air is lighter, when it is moving on the surface, will it have friction with the surface? Yes. कोई भी air when it is moving, wind when it is moving on the surface, wind and air में फर्क है. Wind is horizontal movement of air, advection. Air can move vertically also and horizontally also. So that is the common mistake we do. इस आपने wind ऊपर जाएगी कैसे बताया? Wind नहीं ऊपर जाएगी, क्या ऊपर जाएगा? Air. Wind will always move from horizontally. So the third force that affects the rotation, that is the wind, is the simple force, that is the frictional force. What will this frictional force do? This frictional force will will slow down the speed of the wind. It will slow down the speed of the wind. So which wind is denser, colder or warmer wind? Colder wind. So you can see nowadays frictional force is there and wind is so slow that you do not feel any wind movement. Yehi summers aane do, there will be proper wind movement going on. Understanding this? So frictional force. And the fourth force, which is not that important, is gravitational force. What will this gravitational force do? The gravitational force will try to bring the wind or the air which is in the upper part of the mountain downwards. अगर ऊपर की air cold है, it is trying to pull it down. Himalayas में जब snowfall होता है तो it is trying to pull the winds air down to the great plains. That is the gravitational force. So again gravitational force will affect which wind? Colder or denser? Colder or lighter? Sorry, more colder wind, not because it is denser, not the warmer winds. But which are the two most important force? Pressure gradient force and the Coriolis force. Understood these two forces? Abhi superficially we are going to do each and every force in detail. Understood the concept iske piche ka? So factors that affect the movement of air circulation, not just wind. Factors that affect the movement of air circulation. Factors that affect the movement of air circulation, including the winds. You can refer page number 90 of NCERT 11th. Go home and read this page, page number 90. साथ क्लास के साथ ही NCERT खत्म कर दो, देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी बाद में. So first, pressure gradient force. Pressure gradient force. Wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure. Wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure. Wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure. Greater the pressure gradient, greater the pressure gradient, greater will be the velocity of the winds. Greater will be the velocity of the winds. Pressure gradient matlab difference. Therefore, the wind velocity is greater. Wind velocity is greater in the tropical and subtropical disturbances. Tropical and subtropical disturbances such as कौन से tropical disturbances? Such as tropical cyclones, right? Tropical cyclones, tornadoes, dust storms, thunderstorms. Then temperate disturbances or than temperate cyclones. एक स्टेटमेंट प्रीलिम्स के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड टेम्परेट साइक्लोन्स. देन टेम्परेट साइक्लोन्स. एक्स्ट्रा ट्रॉपिकल और टेम्परेट एक ही है. यू हैव रिटन रॉन्ग. देन द टेम्परेट साइक्लोन्स. देन द टेम्परेट साइक्लोन्स. वी आर नॉट डूइंग टेम्परेट साइक्लोन्स, देन द टेम्परेट साइक्लोन्स. अब आस्क, टेल मी वन थिंग, इज ग्लोबल वार्मिंग इंक्रीजिंग? Global warming effect will be seen in the countries such as India, right? True or false? There will be more warming, and because there will be more warming, 2018 में वार्मिंग हैज इंक्रीज टू सच एन एक्सटेंट कि इस साल इंडिया में धूल थी, डस्ट स्टॉर्म्स. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी आर बिकमिंग अ स्ट्रॉन्गर लो प्रेशर, and because we are becoming a stronger low pressure, wind from the surrounding region is coming towards Delhi. पर दिल्ली में because of warming moisture ही नहीं है एयर में, it has evaporated and therefore dust storm. यही था क्वेश्चन आपको जीएस में. Account for the phenomena of dust storms which is occurring, which was seen in some parts of North India this year. इस साल धूल थी बहुत. Dust storm was there in the month of April and May. Fine. Understanding why? क्योंकि लो प्रेशर है तो विंड कम्स विद ग्रेट स्पीड. विंड कम्स विद ग्रेट स्पीड तो धूल लेके आती है, बिकॉज वी आर सराउंडेड बाय डेजर्ट्स, अरावलीज एक्सेट्रा. एंड एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस, जब वो दिल्ली में आती है और व्हेन इट कम्स टू द ग्रेट प्लेन्स ऑफ इंडिया, जहां पे ड्यू टू ग्लोबल वार्मिंग देयर इज नो मॉइस्चर लेफ्ट, सो बारिश नहीं होती, इट रिजल्ट्स इनटू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ डस्ट स्टॉर्म्स. और जब प्रॉपर फिनोमेना था, व्हेन द नॉर्मल फिनोमेना वाज थंडर स्टॉर्म्स, मतलब रेनफॉल होना चाहिए था, बट आजकल रेनफॉल नहीं हो रहा है बिकॉज देर इज नो मॉइस्चर लेफ्ट. वाई देर इज नो मॉइस्चर लेफ्ट? टू मच ऑफ हीटिंग will cause evaporation of the moisture that is present in the atmosphere. So this is what are the tropical, these are what is the pressure gradient force ka difference. So can I say in simple words, pressure gradient force is directly proportional to the wind velocity, or wind velocity is directly proportional to pressure gradient? Can I say wind velocity is directly proportional to the pressure gradient force? Greater the pressure gradient force, greater will be the wind velocity. Fine? Next point. NCERT का line है, so write down the pressure gradient force. Pressure gradient force normally acts perpendicular to isobars, isotherms, imaginary lines determining temperature. अब temperature will determine pressure. So instead of degree Celsius, अगर मैंने वहाँ की वैल्यू चेंज कर दी तो will not the same isotherms will become isobars? Getting it? Isobars मतलब pressure, isotherms means temperature. So maybe at ये है isotherm 21 degree Celsius and this is an isotherm of somewhere around 26 degree Celsius. अब मैं अगर instead of temperature, if I rub this value and write pressure 900 millibars and 1000 millibars, so does not become isobar? The lines determining equal pressure. So what is the law of wind? High pressure to low pressure. कैसे जाएगी wind? Wind always goes from high pressure to low pressure. Don't write anything. So can I say the direction of the wind is always perpendicular to the isobars? Wind direction, ये है isobar, ये है isobar. The wind direction is always perpendicular to the isobar. Wind will always flow from high pressure to low pressure, more or less perpendicular to the isobar. ये isobar है of high pressure, ये isobar है of low pressure. So pressure gradient force normally acts perpendicular to the isobars. In other words, you can note, in other words, normal winds flow perpendicular to the isobars. Normal winds flow perpendicular to the isobars. Flow perpendicular to the isobars. तो अब नॉर्मल विंड कौन सी है? देयर मीन्स एक विंड है जो परपेंडिकुलर टू आइसोबार नहीं जाती, This is the same statement. It means normally a wind flows perpendicular to the isobars. We'll do those winds as jet streams. Jet streams will never flow perpendicular, they will flow parallel, so rest of the things are not important. Understood this? Everyone? Next, Coriolis force. It is an imaginary force. It is an imaginary force which impacts wind direction, full stop. कल स्टेटमेंट आता है Coriolis force influences the direction and the speed of the wind. True or false? मैंने स्पीड लिखवाया है? No speed, only direction. Understood this? So because I have seen numerous test series, ये statement commonly देते हैं and generally students make mistake. They influence only the direction. Speed is not influenced. Speed influences Coriolis force. Coriolis force does not influence speed. Understood? Means it is not humanities. Ki it is proper science. Only in one direction. Opposite नहीं, unless it is proved. So what is proved? डायरेक्शन को अफेक्ट करता है, स्पीड को अफेक्ट नहीं करता. बट अगर स्पीड बढ़ेगा तो रोटेशन बढ़ता है. मतलब स्पीड अगर बढ़ेगा तो कोरियोलिस फोर्स बढ़ता है, कोरियोलिस फोर्स अगर बढ़ेगा तो स्पीड नहीं बढ़ता. विल डू दैट इन साइक्लॉन्स. सो दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग टेक क्लाइमेटोलॉजी वेरी वेरी सीरियसली. क्या नहीं, अलग रहेगा. We'll write all this. We'll write all this. It is not affecting speed. It is affecting only direction. Due to Coriolis force, winds, ocean currents, याद रखना रॉकेट्स भी, प्लेन्स भी, बट हम नहीं करेंगे ये सब. हम सिर्फ ज्योग्राफी लिख रहे हैं यहाँ पे. Winds, ocean currents are deflected to the right. कौन से हेमिस्फीयर में? Northern hemisphere. Are deflected to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere. And to the left in the southern hemisphere. Deflected to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere in the direction of its movement. It is also known as an Farrell's law. Farrell was a person who gave the theory saying that when the wind is blowing and if you stand with your arms outstretched in the northern hemisphere, you will find कि right hand side has more pressure than left hand side. क्यों? कौन से डायरेक्शन में विंड जा रही है? राइट हैंड साइड. एंड इन द सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर योर लेफ्ट हैंड साइड विल हैव मोर प्रेशर देन द राइट हैंड साइड विथ योर बैक टुवर्ड्स द विंड. बट हमें वो ज़रूरत नहीं है जीएस में. फाइन, जस्ट रिमेंबर डिफ्लेक्शन. नेक्स्ट, Coriolis force is inversely proportional to the rotational speed of the earth. Is inversely proportional to the rotational speed of the earth. And therefore, as the rotational speed of the earth is greatest, or is maximum over the equator, is maximum over the equator. Coriolis force is 0 at equator. Is 0 at equator, or Coriolis force is minimum in equatorial regions. ग्रामर का डिफरेंस है. 0 एट इक्वेटर मतलब 0 डिग्री लाइन पे क्या है कोरियोलिस फोर्स? 0. इक्वेटोरियल रीजन मतलब 0 to 10 डिग्री एंड 0 to 10 डिग्री, वहाँ पे क्या है कोरियोलिस फोर्स? मिनिमम. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? ये आपका पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन है. So what is the answer? दो ही ऑप्शन दे रहा हूं मैं, बी एंड डी नहीं दे रहा हूं. ये है यूपीएससी ने पूछा सीएपीएफ के एग्जाम में. दोनों ऑप्शन है. What is the right answer? In spite of high temperatures, मतलब ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन्स के लिए भी रिक्वायर हाई टेम्परेचर्स. एंड दूसरा सिर्फ हाई टेम्परेचर्स होके फ़ायदा नहीं है. ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन देखा है फोटो में कैसे गोल घूमती है हवा, डिफ्लेक्शन है या स्ट्रेट जाती है? इट इज़ डिफ्लेक्शन. सो डिफ्लेक्शन के लिए विच फोर्स इज रिक्वायर्ड? कोरियोलिस फोर्स. सो दे आर सेइंग दैट ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन्स डू नॉट ओरिजिनेट, word is at the equator. So the answer is C. अगर ये होता in the equatorial region तो answer would have been A. So जल्दी जल्दी में कभी भी पेपर सॉल्व मत करना. Read each and every option properly. और ये है ऐसे क्वेश्चंस जिसमें अच्छे स्टूडेंट्स भी मिस्टेक कर लेते हैं बिकॉज जल्दी सॉल्व करना होता है. 100 क्वेश्चंस 120 मिनट्स, यू हैव इनफ टाइम. 2012 तक 120 मिनट्स एंड 150 क्वेश्चंस. यूपीएससी ने 50 क्वेश्चंस कम किए, तो टाइम शुड नॉट बी अ फैक्टर ओनली. इनफ टाइम इज देयर. सो रीड ईच एंड एवरी ऑप्शन, सर्कल करो एट. दो ऑप्शंस जब आने के बाद देन यू शुड से कि एग्जैक्टली कौन सा राइट है, 0 या मिनिमम. सो आंसर इज 0. फाइन. व्हाई? बिकॉज द ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन्स रिक्वायर डिफ्लेक्शन. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इन द कोरियोलिस फोर्स. As the Coriolis force increases away from the equator, as the Coriolis force increases away from the equator, the westerlies in polar and subpolar regions, westerlies in polar and subpolar regions start flowing from west to east. Start flowing from west to east. ऐसे नहीं समझ में आएगा. What is the direction of westerlies? साउथ वेस्ट टू नॉर्थ ईस्ट. सो जैसे जैसे ऊपर जाएंगे तो देयर विल बी इंक्रीज इन द Coriolis force because it will increase, and when it goes in the higher latitudes, they start not flowing from southwest to northeast but literally flowing from west to east. This is what the statement means. So वहाँ पे लिखना ब्रैकेट में refer ocean currents. एक ocean current है which flows from west to east known as west wind drift. So why the west wind drift is there? Because the westerlies will change the direction. Fine with this? Third point in the Coriolis force. The Coriolis force always acts perpendicular to the pressure gradient force. The Coriolis force always acts perpendicular to the pressure gradient force. Always acts perpendicular to the pressure gradient force. Pressure gradient force, high pressure to low pressure. This is the pressure gradient force का direction, and this is the Coriolis force का direction. It will always act perpendicular. Therefore, wind का final direction will be in between. Balance of pressure gradient force and the Coriolis force. Remember, direction of the wind is always influenced by numerous forces. Understanding this? सिर्फ इतना फैक्ट समझा कि द कोरियोलिस फोर्स विल ऑलवेज एक्ट परपेंडिकुलर टू द प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट फोर्स. ये फैक्ट है, याद रखना. क्यों फैक्ट है? वेलोसिटी क्यू है. यू कैन नॉट से दैट. दिस इज अ फैक्ट. ग्रेविटी क्यू है. सो रिमेंबर दैट इट इज एन फैक्ट. कोरियोलिस फोर्स का डायरेक्शन इज ऑलवेज परपेंडिकुलर टू द प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट फोर्स. होप सो जीएस में हमें जरूरत ही ना पड़े इसकी, बट पढ़ने वाली है इन. अगेन वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग द ग्राउंड फॉर जेट स्ट्रीम्स. ये सारे तब जरूरत पड़ेंगे. फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स. थर्ड नेक्स्ट फोर्स इज द फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स. Frictional force will act on which winds? Upper air या lower air? Surface winds. So this acts on the surface winds. This acts on the surface winds. This acts on the surface winds. And causes decrease in the speed of the surface winds. Causes decrease in the speed of an surface winds. So frictional force will affect what? Speed of the wind. Friction land पे ज़्यादा है या water पे ज़्यादा है? Land पे. So the speed of the wind is always greater on the sea or water bodies. इसलिए you must have seen numerous YouTube का videos जिसमें there is a wind which causes waves to rise and fall and which causes the ship to rise and fall. जितना deep sea उतना stronger will be the wind क्योंकि frictional force is very less. Fine. So first sub point, as the frictional force is less over the water bodies, the speed of wind is greater over the large water bodies. The speed of wind is greater over the large water bodies. Speed of wind is greater over the large water bodies. Point number 2. Why the name jet stream? Can someone tell me? क्यों इस winds का नाम है jet streams?
पता चला था इसकी वजह से।
मैंने बताया था ये क्लास में. It was discovered during the Second World War. Pearl Harbor bombing पता है आपको? Who did the Pearl Harbor bombing? Japan. And then USA retaliated on Japan. So when the USA was retaliating, suppose this is a Japan and this is USA and beach mein is the Pacific Ocean. When the USA का fighter pilot jets were going to bomb Japan, they saw that they are stationary in the air. That is, speedometer is full. Speedometer दिखा रहा है 600 kilometers per hour, पर they are stationary. वो घूम ही नहीं रहे. And when they came back, somehow they reached Japan. So when they came back, अगर 3 घंटे लगने हैं, तो they came with in 1.5 hours. That they came with the double the speed. उससे पता लगा कि there is a very high velocity wind which blows in the upper atmosphere with a speed of 600 to 700 kilometers per hour, and that wind is known as jet stream. Now I am asking you why jet stream ka speed is so high. You got an answer here. Which force is absent in the upper atmosphere? Frictional force. Fine. So you can take down. As the frictional force is absent in the upper atmosphere, jet streams flow with very high velocity. Jet streams flow with very high velocity. Jet streams flow with very high velocity. And the last force is gravitational force, which is not at all important, towards the central. So centrifugal, centripetal. Towards the center, कौन सा force attract कर? Centripetal. So the last force is gravitational or centripetal force. Centripetal force, right? Centripetal force rather than gravitational force. It will attract the winds. It will attract the winds towards a low pressure center from all sides. It will attract the winds towards low pressure center from all sides. कोई ज़्यादा important नहीं है, cyclones के लिए important है. Low pressure center from all sides. अगर ये center में low pressure है, बाकी सब sides से winds will be pulled towards this low pressure center. Fine. And now we'll do the winds.
यहाँ पे हम ईस्टर्लीज और वेस्टर्लीज नाम कैसे दे रहे हैं, मतलब डायरेक्शन तो
East to west. East to west. So wind का कोई भी नाम, the question is why the names are easterlies and westerlies. याद रखना, wind का कोई भी नाम is in the direction where it originates, not where it flows. So we say कि winters में इंडिया में there are going to be western disturbances which causes rainfall. क्यों? कहाँ से आ रही है इंडिया में ये एयर? वेस्ट से आ रही है, and therefore western disturbances. Wind का नाम is always given on the name of area, direction where it originates, not where it flows. Understanding this? So easterlies, वो नहीं कि नॉर्थ ईस्टर्लीज साउथ ईस्टर्लीज, ऐसे नहीं. वो स्पेसिफिकली जब आंसर लिखेंगे तो साउथ ईस्टर्लीज. आजकल कौन सा मानसून चल रहा है इंडिया में? नॉर्थ ईस्ट मानसून. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? बाय द नॉर्थ ईस्ट, क्योंकि ये विंड इज ओरिजिनेटिंग इन द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न डायरेक्शन. सो द नॉर्थ ईस्ट मानसून. So take down the primary circulation or global winds. Or global winds. These are permanent winds which blow across the continents. These are permanent winds which blow across the continents. and सबसे पहले is the trade winds. What are the points you can write? Diagram है आपके सामने. Tell me the points. Points मतलब they originate कहाँ से? So where do they originate? So that they originate from the optional के student छोड़ के कोई और भी आंसर तो ऑप्शनल वाले मत बोलो. So they originate from the subtropical high to equatorial low. Fine. Why they originate at the subtropical high? कल ही देखा, because this is the dynamically induced high pressure belt. Understanding this? Now here is the, so if this is a land, imaginary land, and if this is an equatorial belt and if this is a subtropical high pressure belt, this is a subtropical high pressure belt. So can I say this is the top view? This is how the trade wind will be blowing. Fine. And then after coming at the equatorial low pressure belt, क्या होगा? It will rise up and then again it will come and settle down. That means this is the wind which will be blowing from subtropical high to equatorial low. After coming at equatorial low, it will rise up and it will go back to its original position. Subtropical high to equatorial low, rise up and go back to its original position. So this is our land surrounded by what? Imaginary land, then it will be surrounded by what here? Water or ocean. So I am drawing it here. We are taking a cross-sectional view. This is our land and it is surrounded by the water body. And this is how the trade winds are. Fine? ऐसा ही तो जा रहा है trade winds. If you, this is the top view, this is the cross-sectional view. Understanding everyone? So can I say they are coming from sea towards the land and यहाँ पे they are coming from land towards the sea? Getting it or not? Sea towards the land and when they go interior, land towards the sea. Now when they are coming from sea towards the land, in these hotter regions, will they be full of moisture? Evaporation hoga. And as soon as they come on the land, will they give rainfall? Excess of moisture will be given out. And इसीलिए because they give the rainfall, what will be there? There will be trees or forest. जैसे अंदर जाएंगे, is there any new source of moisture for them? Is there any new source of addition of moisture? कोई है moisture देने के लिए? समंदर है बीच में? Rivers are not at all important source of water in geography. हमारे लिए है, humans के लिए. But geography में rivers are 0.0001% source of water. Remember. So they don't have much importance on climate, weather. रिवर्स से ज़्यादा पानी सारे ह्यूमन बींग्स और एनिमल्स के बॉडी में है. जितनी भी रिवर्स है वर्ल्ड में, उससे ज़्यादा पानी हमारे बॉडी में है. उससे ज़्यादा पानी सॉइल में है एज अ सॉइल मॉइस्चर. सो रिवर्स आर नॉट एट ऑल इम्पॉर्टेंट सोर्स ऑफ मॉइस्चर. सो एज वी गो इनसाइड, इफ देर इज नो एक्सेस मॉइस्चर, क्योंकि यहाँ पे कोई लेक बिक नहीं बनाया, विल द रेनफॉल डिक्रीज? सो द हाइट ऑफ द ट्रीज विल डिक्रीज और नॉट? एंड अल्टीमेटली रेनफॉल इतना कम होगा कि ट्री cannot grow. So when the tree cannot grow, what will grow? Grasses. So the trees will give rise to grasses. And ultimately, the grasses also cannot grow and then nothing will grow here. So we have done yesterday that deserts are always located on the western coast of the continents. Getting it? So Bay of Bengal से हवा अंदर आती है, बंगाल में it gives rainfall, बिहार में it gives rainfall, यूपी में it gives rainfall, दिल्ली आते आते there is no moisture left. So Delhi has semi-arid climate and Rajasthan में the entire moisture is gone. So the Rajasthan is a desert. Understanding this? So we call this as, this type of climate as monsoon or deciduous biome. जैसे we go inside, monsoon or deciduous biome gives rise to grasslands. But what are these grasslands? We are in the trade wind is the wind of tropics or temperates? Tropics. So we have tropical grasslands, or what is technically known as savanna. And then savanna के बाजू में we have hot deserts. We have hot deserts of the world. So you understand how the winds affect our life. Rainfall here every day क्योंकि wind is forced to go up. So tropical evergreen forest. उसके ऊपर rainfall जब wind हमारी तरफ आएगी. So deciduous biome. What is the difference between evergreen and deciduous? Evergreen, the trees do not have to worry about moisture, loss of moisture, and इसलिए they can grow throughout the year. Because they can grow throughout the year, they are having leaves. Because two things are necessary for life: heat and humidity. Heat and humidity available throughout the year क्योंकि it is a belt of doldrums, low pressure. So tropical evergreen forest. Heat and humidity is available only in seasons. And इसीलिए जब cold season आता है तो heat नहीं है. इंडिया जैसे climate में humidity भी नहीं है. So how will trees conserve the humidity? By shedding the leaves. Because leaves में से they are losing the water through evapotranspiration. So जो भी trees that shed the leaves are known as patjhad in Hindi or deciduous in English. English is a deciduous is an English word for patjhad. So we are our trees having leaves? No. Leaves कब आएंगे? जब सूरज वापस आ जाएगा, जब गर्मी आ जाएगी मार्च में. So leaves आएंगे, flowers आएंगे तो हम होली सेलिब्रेट करते हैं क्योंकि वो कलरफुल दिखने लग जाता है. Understand our seasons and tradition. होली इसलिए नहीं सेलिब्रेट करते क्योंकि कृष्णा एंड राधा यूज्ड टू प्ले होली. सो दैट आर माइथोलॉजीज. होली इसलिए सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, हम यहाँ पे होली सेलिब्रेट करते हैं. इन टेम्परेट लैटिट्यूड्स दे सेलिब्रेट स्प्रिंग. Spring is their biggest festival because the sun will come back and the trees will start growing. The leaves will look very fresh. The flowers will be very fresh. So this is what is the spring season. Then as we go inside, we have savanna grasslands. Now these are the tropical grasslands. Tropical grasslands are slightly different from the temperate grasslands. These tropical grasslands are very tall because rainfall is not enough for trees to grow, but rainfall is much greater than the temperate latitudes. जितना ज़्यादा heat, उतना ज़्यादा evaporation, उतना ज़्यादा rainfall. So it is more than enough for grasses to grow, and therefore the grasses will grow to such an extent that the average height of the grasses is 10 to 11 feet. Our height is 6 feet. मेरी तो 6 feet भी नहीं. So the grasses will be having 10 to 11 feet, and we will call these grasses as elephant grasses because they are very tall. And because of the elephant grasses, these are tropical grasses. Matlab the grasses also have to worry about the loss of moisture, right? And therefore to reduce the loss of moisture, grasses will undergo modification. कोई भी tree to conserve the moisture has to either shed the leaves or transfer that leaves. Surface area कम करेगा and the leaves will get converted into thorns. So this cactus देखा है? Does it have leaf? No, it has thorns. This is what we will call it as a xerophytic. That is इसी साल यहाँ से question था. What are the adaptations of xerophytic vegetation? Conversion of leaves into thorns. क्या है basic logic? Basic logic is reduction in the surface area, so to avoid the loss of moisture. So the leaves are converted into thorns. The grasses are not soft because soft grasses will be there only if there is moisture. Grasses are very hard, very wiry. They are having thorns, and because of this, savanna type of climate has a dominance of carnivorous animals, not herbivorous animals. Understanding this? क्योंकि cattle cannot eat soft grasses. cannot eat hard grasses. Cattle के लिए you require soft grasses. Hard grasses are either taken by sheep, goat or goat के ecotypes. Now what are these ecotypes? Environment ecology में बताऊंगा. मतलब same species but different types of genetic variation. So यहाँ पे it is dominated by carnivorous animals. So you see savanna has lions, savanna has cheetah, savanna has leopard, savanna has hyenas, and because it is dominated by the carnivorous animals, the herbivorous animals to survive. नेचर herbivorous animal भी देगा, because carnivorous नहीं तो खाएंगे क्या? शेर ऐसे करेगा कि नहीं अभी डियर नहीं है, I will start eating grass. No. So herbivorous animals are there, but they are having two characteristics. Either they know how to fight or they know how to run. So in the savanna grasslands, speed or strength matters. Strength, rhinos. Strength, elephants. The largest mammal on the earth, African elephant. Fine? Having very big ears. क्यों? So that उसको शेर की आवाज दूर से सुनाई दे? नहीं, because it is a hot region. It should cool it down. Understanding? Or the other kind of, that is because the trees are there and there are some animals which cannot eat the grasses. So they will be having tender leaves. They can eat only soft leaves. Soft leaves, थोड़े बहुत trees at the top. Giraffe. इस साल वो क्वेश्चन, ये एक हिंदू में आर्टिकल था, नाउ दे हैव सॉल्व्ड द रिडल बिहाइंड द लॉन्ग नेक ऑफ जिराफ. ऐसा नाउ दे हैव नॉट सॉल्व्ड, ये बहुत पहले से है. ये 3 साल पहले भी मैं क्लास में बताता था कि जिराफ इज हैविंग, और ये सबको पता है, लॉन्ग नेक, बिकॉज इवोल्यूशन, रोज गर्दन ऊंची ऊंची करते हैं, द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन हैज गॉट लॉन्ग नेक एंड दैट इज जिराफ. और द डोंकीज इन दिस रीजन विल हैव स्पेशल stripes, parallel stripes of the color of the grasses, dark brown, so they can hide, and that is zebra. Zebra is a kind of a donkey of Africa, so they will have zebra. Or you will have different kind of deer which will run, and that is what is the savanna grasslands. There is no cattle in this. Why is savanna grassland important? Because savanna grassland is facing the first change due to global warming, desertification. These grasslands are now becoming increasing desert. Understanding this region? And then यहाँ पे आते आते we are having a desert. So these are the climates of the trade wind belt, and we study this in detail in environment ecology by the name biomes. Savannas are facing more and more drought because एक तो हम ट्रीज को डिस्ट्रॉय कर रहे हैं, सो द डेजर्ट विंड की स्पीड बढ़ रही है, डेजर्ट पार्टिकल आर डिपॉजिटेड देयर एंड देयर इज इंक्रीजिंग डेजर्टिफिकेशन. इथोपिया और वो सब रीजन, इसलिए तो वहाँ पे इतना ड्रॉट है. हाँ, यहाँ पे नोमैडिक ट्राइब्स ही रहेंगे. सवाना के ग्रेजिंग के लिए वहाँ पे कैटल ही नहीं है. See, यहाँ का tribes, this is in the news, what you see is a conflict zone of Africa. It is a conflict zone of Africa not because of this natural condition. It is a conflict zone in Africa because savanna is a transition zone in Africa between this is the savanna region, जिसको ब्लैक आपने देखा होगा written in atlas as Sahel. This is a conflict zone in Africa because नीचे Christianity है, ऊपर इस्लाम है, and बीच में tribal culture है. So both of them are trying to convert them into each other. So हमेशा conflicts are due to religious reasons, not due to natural reasons से conflict इतना ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So the people from here are illegally migrating into Europe. Because of illegal migration, क्योंकि यूरोप की migration policy is such that it allows anyone to come and take asylum there, जो ब्रिटेन नहीं चाहता था, इसलिए ब्रेक्सिट. कैन यू लिंक दिस? सो इसलिए ब्रेक्सिट क्यों हुआ? एक तो वन ऑफ द रीजन वाज कि ब्रिटेन डिड नॉट वांट द ऑल द माइग्रेंट्स टू कम एंड सेटल इन ब्रिटेन. अगर वो EU का मेंबर होता तो EU की पॉलिसीज उसको it would have followed. So it did not want that. And you can see uska implications. France mein riots happening. The same thing will happen after some days in Germany, because if the population ka pressure increases, there will be pressure on resources. And if there is a pressure on resources, there will always be a son of soil concept coming up. Ki resources should first belong to the local people. That is what is the son of soil. The same thing is happening in Mumbai. Son of soil. The same thing is happening in USA. Indians are going and working at $5,000, which is a very good salary for us, but unke liye it is a very less salary. Unki salary shuru hoti hai from $60,000 by the law. So outsourcing through internet, which is against Trump. Trump ki policy is against that. So it's all based on the optimum population versus resources. Have you understood this? So you can take trade winds. All this is Sahel region. क्योंकि वहाँ पे इतनी पॉवर्टी है कुछ. So you can take trade winds. These are the winds which originate from subtropical high pressure belt. From subtropical high pressure belt to the equatorial low pressure belt. To the equatorial low pressure belt in both northern and southern hemisphere. In both northern and southern hemisphere. Northern and southern hemisphere. Next point. The trade winds are onshore. The trade winds are onshore. On the eastern coast of the continents. Trade winds are onshore. Onshore. On the eastern coast of the continents. Onshore means from sea towards the land. Onshore, on the eastern coast of the continents, and therefore give heavy rainfall. Heavy rainfall, supporting tropical deciduous climate or biome. While they are offshore on the western coast of the continents, they are offshore on the western coast of the continents. And hence, they do not give rainfall. Hence, they do not give rainfall. On the western coasts, क्योंकि कोई भी ऑफशोर विंड रेनफॉल नहीं देगी, हमेशा ऑनशोर विंड रेनफॉल देगी. दिस लॉ अप्लाइज एनीवेयर. साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून ऑनशोर है ऑफशोर है? ऑनशोर. नाउअडेज नॉर्थ ईस्ट मॉनसून ऑनशोर है ऑफशोर है? ऑफशोर, एक्सेप्ट तमिलनाडु. सो कहाँ पे रेनफॉल होने वाला है अभी? कोरोमंडल कोस्ट, तमिलनाडु. चेन्नई विल एक्सपीरियंस फ्लडिंग. ऑनशोर एंड ऑफशोर वाला कंसेप्ट. The transition zone between the hot deserts, the transition zone between the hot deserts and the tropical monsoon biome is known as savanna grasslands. Monsoon biome is known as savanna grasslands. Or tropical grassland biome. Savanna grasslands or the tropical grassland biome. See, अगर यही क्वेश्चन अब 150 वर्ड्स में आता है तो क्या करोगे? Add extra lines that in the northern hemisphere they are from northeast to southwest. In the southern hemisphere they are from southeast to northwest. Fine? एक एक्स्ट्रा एक पॉइंट जो बाद में समझ में आएगा. It is said that southwest monsoons of India, it is said that the southwest monsoons of India are trade winds from the southern hemisphere. Are the trade winds from the southern hemisphere. We'll do this point later on. Are trade winds from the southern hemisphere. Yes.
साउथ वेस्ट क्यों कह रहे हैं? क्योंकि एक्चुअली ये इमर्ज तो ईस्ट साइड से हो रहा है.
वेस्ट से आ रहा है. मतलब बाद में करेंगे. Westerlies. Now what you are going to write? Originates from subtropical high pressure to subpolar low pressure belt, not frontal belt, subpolar low pressure belt. Why they originate? Because of a dynamically induced pressure belt. Now these winds are warm winds or cold winds. 30 to 35 के पास कैसा होगा temperature? These winds are warm winds. As these winds are warm winds where they are ending 60 to 65 degree latitudes. Now just imagine इसका first practical implication. This is Europe. UK, and this is what is the westerlies which are coming. That is fine. यहाँ पे समंदर है. What is the name of that? This is the North Sea, Atlantic Ocean or the North Sea. So can I, and which is this country? This is Britain. This part of Europe is France, Germany, Poland. That is France, Germany, Poland, and I will call this part of Europe as Western Europe. Now Western Europe की खासियत ये है that summer temperature of Western Europe is 21 degrees Celsius and winter temperature of Western Europe is average is 4 degrees Celsius. in this latitude summer temperature कम है समझ में आता है, but in this latitude the average summer temperature is 16 degrees Celsius and the average winter temperature is minus 10 degrees Celsius. So can I say the summers are not very hot and the winters are not very cold in this type of climate? Q, warming effect of westerlies. So West European type of climate, which is considered to be the best climate for human development, for human health, has its origin due to the warming effect of the westerlies. And it is this westerlies we will see which will take the Gulf Stream, that is the warm ocean current, in this direction. Because of westerlies, the warm ocean currents will go. So that is one importance of westerlies. Second importance of westerlies is the West British type of climate की खासियत क्या है? इंग्लैंड में जब क्रिकेट मैच होता है तो कभी भी कैंसिल हो सकता है. Why? बारिश. We are getting an answer. Onshore winds. This is the region of permanent onshore winds, and therefore this is the region where rain can occur any time. Right? Getting this? So जैसे ही westerlies आई, बारिश. And England is made up of numerous highlands, so wind is forced to rise up. Or the British type of climate is best shown by Sherlock Holmes. How is Sherlock Holmes? Is he wearing a long coat?
Yes.
Why? Cold climate. Is he wearing a hat? Why? Is he wearing a hat? Why? Sun can occur. Hat कौन rain के लिए पहनता? The sun can be there. Is he carrying an umbrella?
Yes.
Yes. मतलब वो कोट भी पहन रहा है to protect himself from the cold climate, and he is carrying an umbrella also. That is what is the British type of climate. In fact, we say Britain has no climate, only weather. Why? Because climate is a constant phenomena. Weather keeps on changing. So that is because of the westerlies. So you can take these 2 points. Originates from westerlies, originates from subtropical high and flows towards the subpolar low pressure belt, and flows towards the subpolar low pressure belt in such a way that they are onshore on the western coast of the continents. In such a way that they are onshore on the western coast of the continents. Onshore on the western coast of the continents. Fine with this? The British type of a climate, next point, the British type of a climate. The British type of a climate or West European type of a climate, West European type of a climate owes its origin OWES owes its origin to the maritime effect, समंदर के पास जो है, to the maritime effect and the warming effect of westerlies. And the warming effect of westerlies. Remember, British type of climate means rainfall anytime, summers not very hot and winters are not very cold. Winters are similar to Delhi ka winters and summers are similar to what we are experiencing nowadays. Daytime temperature during the summers 21 degrees Celsius, winters 4 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius economy बंद, 40 degrees Celsius फिर से output less. But British type of climate में summer temperature 20-21, अंदर जाओगे 16 degrees और अंदर जाओगे in Russia minus 57 degrees, minus 57 degrees. मतलब you cannot even come out of your house, because if you come out of house, frozen. skin gets frozen. क्योंकि continental effect, summers are very hot, winters are very cold. Winters are -57 and summers are 30, same like India. So this is what is the other type of climate. So no doubt you can see यहाँ पे actually British type, West European type of climate में you remember that human beings are neither mentally nor physically tired. Because research भी बताता है कि 25 degree Celsius is the optimum temperature for human beings to exist. 25 डिग्री सेल्सियस के आसपास. बहुत ठंडी, नींद ज़्यादा आएगी. बहुत गर्मी, थकान ज़्यादा होगी. सो ट्रॉपिक्स वी गेट टायर्ड वेरी इजीली. Equatorial regions में we get tired so easily, the human beings they are tired so easily that they are one of the shortest people alive on the earth. Pygmies of Congo Basin. Amazon rainforest में no human beings can survive. Understanding? Because it is all dependent upon the relative humidity. कितना, how much output comes from the, how much energy is required to survive. Second point. There is a dominance of land here in the northern hemisphere, but there is no land in the southern hemisphere, especially at these latitudes. So you can take down in the southern hemisphere, due to the dominance of water bodies, or due to the dominance of water, the westerlies travel with great speed. अभी हमने देखा क्योंकि frictional force is absent on the water body. So it is this zone which I am talking. Land mass ही नहीं है. And they are known by different names. Such as roaring 40s at 40 degrees south latitude, not north, only south. Furious 50s at 50 degree south latitude. और फिर से स्पीड बढ़ जाती है तो श्रीकिंग 60s at 60 degree south latitude. Shrieking 60s at 60 degree south latitude. So क्यों है ऐसा? अगर क्वेश्चन आता है तो ड्यू टू डिफरेंस बिटवीन द नेचर ऑफ लैंड एंड वाटर बिटवीन द नॉर्दर्न एंड southern hemisphere. They do not have that much. There is no resistance to the flow of the winds. And last point, can I wrap this part? The biomes will show two types of biomes in westerlies. क्योंकि westerlies का area you can see is very different. 30 to 45 तक middle latitudes and 45 to 65 तक higher latitudes. So mid latitudes में we have what is known as Mediterranean type of climate. We'll do this as a separate topic. Now these are onshore from west to east. So they will give very heavy rainfall on the western side of the continents, right? अंदर जाएंगे फिर से rainfall कम होगी. So there will be again what? grasslands. So, and this grasslands will be, but what will be the grasslands? In the middle and the higher latitudes, temperature itna hai ya kam hai? Like tropics. How is the temperature after 35 degree north? How is the temperature in Kashmir? How is the temperature in the higher latitudes? It is very less, it is colder, and therefore evaporation hoga very less. So will the trees have to, or the plants have to worry about the loss of moisture? No. And therefore यहाँ का grasses do not have to worry about the loss of moisture, and therefore we will call this as temperate grasslands. El Nino? Yes. El Nino तो कहीं पे भी apply होगा, even in the poles. What is Allen law? Don't worry. So, temperate grasslands are known by different names. They are prairies. कौन से country में? North America. They are known as pampas. Which country? Not in Brazil. Brazil is tropical. ब्राज़ील जैसे हमारे इंडिया जैसा ही है, सेम, सिर्फ पॉपुलेशन कम है तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट है. दिस इज इन अर्जेंटीना. सबसे लार्जेस्ट एरिया स्टेपीज. कौन सी कंट्री? रशिया, यूक्रेन, दैट इज अर्स्टवाइल USSR. डाउन्स कौन सी कंट्री? ऑस्ट्रेलिया. क्यों डाउन्स? सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में, इसलिए. ऑस्ट्रेलिया का नेम आर नॉट एट ऑल कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. डाउन्स. कैंटरबरी ग्रासलैंड्स कौन सी कंट्री? मंचूरिया ग्रासलैंड्स कौन सी कंट्री? So these are the names of different grasslands. These are all the temperate grasslands of the world. क्यों फेमस है? This is the region of tough grasses या soft grasses. So what is the most important occupation here? Cattle rearing is the most important occupation, and this is a flat area of the world, so agriculture is the other important occupation. But agriculture किसके साथ? Animal husbandry के साथ. You had an article in recent some 2 months कि global warming का ये सबसे बड़ा biggest contributor है, cattle rearing industry. कैसे? Why they give out methane? I had included this in the test also. Because cattle engage in a digestive process known as bar they chew it. So when they chew it in that way, they release the methane gas. And this is the region of the largest cattle industry in the world. So you just remember this for prelims, then I will dictate you. न्यूजीलैंड. प्रायरीज किसके लिए फेमस है? व्हीट एंड कॉर्न और मेज. कॉर्न मतलब मेज. मेज क्यों यूज होता है? Maize is a food crop in USA? No. Maize is grown just for artificial fattening of the, or quick fattening of the animals. That is, they will harvest the maize, they will have the maize, large cornfields. They'll keep the cattle and the pigs hungry before the harvest season, and as soon as the maize comes out, They will not worry about cutting. They will just leave the hungry cattle and pigs on them. They will eat large quantity of maize, and because of that, they will grow very fat within weeks. Jaise hi they cross the threshold, they are sent to factories and exported. So, remember, it is used only for cattle field. Argentina, Pampas is famous for wheat and meat export. स्टेपीज के बहुत डिफरेंट यूजेस है, सो वी कैनॉट राइट दैट स्टेपीज, उसको हमें अलग से पढ़ना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दिस वॉज वंस अ रीजन ऑफ नोमैडिक पीपल विच वॉज मेड into a single country USSR, and उसके बाद this nomadic people belonging to the different tribes, they broke down. आज they are known by the tribes, are known by the countries. Kyrgyz belongs to Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhs belong to Kazakhstan, Tajiks belong to Tajikistan, Uzbeks were tribes, now they have Uzbekistan. USSR जब था they were a single region. Mongols belong to Mongolia, but उनका एक specific, they had one benefit, that they knew how to ride horses. So you learn that in history, you must have learned the difference between the Indian soldiers and the Mughals. Mughals came with horses, Aryans came with horses. They invented wheel, क्योंकि horses था, wheel तो एक साथ chariot. Downs are famous for sheep rearing. The best quality wool, hallmark नहीं. It is an merino wool which comes from this. Hallmark मतलब कोई भी जो चीज़ pure हो. So the best quality wool, merino wool, comes from Australia. It is famous for sheep rearing. Manchuria region is famous for soybean. It is famous for oil seed, soybean. And Canterbury Plains are famous for which includes chocolate, butter, cheese, milk powder, etc. everything. So fine with this, what are the temperate grasslands? फिर एक और diagram in the higher latitudes. So this is Mediterranean type. This is the temperate grasslands, and this is China type. Means temperate monsoon. हमारा कौन सा monsoon है? Tropical monsoon. This is the temperate monsoon type of climate. इसको कहते हैं China type of climate. Not at all important from exam point of view. अलग, वो अलग ही टॉपिक है, एक सेपरेट क्वेश्चन है मेडिटेरेनियन टाइप, नॉट हियर. हम अलग से करेंगे उसको. डेसिडियस. वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि टेम्परेट लॉटिट्यूड्स में मॉइस्चर डज नॉट अफेक्ट, क्योंकि इवेपोरेशन ही नहीं है. डेजर्ट क्यों नहीं है यहाँ पे? ये डेजर्ट होना चाहिए अगर, पर डेजर्ट इसलिए नहीं है बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट ट्रॉपिक्स. यू आर गोइंग इनटू द कोल्डर रीजन्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. डेजर्ट के लिए देयर हैज टू बी, हॉट डेजर्ट्स के लिए देयर हैज टू बी इवेपोरेशन. इवेपोरेशन के लिए देयर हैज टू बी हीट. लेह लद्दाख के बाद हीट है इतना? नो, इट इज एक्सट्रीमली कोल्ड. अगर है तो सिर्फ कोल्ड डेजर्ट्स है, देयर आर नो हॉट डेजर्ट्स. एंड चाइना टाइप में वैसे भी डेजर्ट्स नहीं होंगे, बिकॉज यू विल डू लेटर ऑन, दो यू नो दिस टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट इज फेमस फॉर cyclones which are known as typhoons. South China Sea is famous for typhoons. That is what, ये सिर्फ प्रीलिम्स के लिए अभी याद रखो, ये हमें बाद में डिटेल में करना पड़ेगा. मेडिटेरेनियन इज नॉट दैट इजी, वो एक पूरा एक अलग कंसेप्ट है. Fine with this? This is just for prelims. You have to just remember this is because there is nothing separate as world geography. यही है world geography. Don't expect कि नॉर्थ अमेरिका, साउथ अमेरिका, वो ज़माना गया. यूपीएससी नहीं पूछता क्वेश्चन उसमें से. They will ask you basically questions from here, this, and this is nothing but last 10 chapters of GC Leong. Second part of GC Leong, part 2. Next, in the higher latitudes, no, westerlies में, in the higher latitudes, especially in the belt of fronts, the westerlies are responsible for year-long precipitation. Westerlies are responsible for year-long precipitation, not rainfall. Which is in liquid form during summers and solid form, that is snow, during winters. During the winters. Fine. अब यहाँ पे rainfall, so will the trees have to worry about the moisture here? Rainfall is occurring throughout the year, that is the precipitation is occurring throughout the year. It is in the solid form during the summer, during the winter season, that is there is a heavy snowfall and there is a rainfall. So the trees do not have to worry about moisture. So will they be evergreen? Yes, they will be evergreen. But उनका shape change हो जाएगा. To survive, what they have to worry? They have to worry about extremely cold climate. Because if they are like the trees which are found in the tropics, spread up in canopy, they will die. Because snow will fall and there will be frostbite. So what are the trees which are found in the higher latitudes? The higher latitudes में the trees are conical in shape. Why they are conical in shape? So that whenever there is excess snowfall, the flexible branches will stoop down, the snow will fall down. See the individual leaf of a Christmas tree, it is pointed downwards, so that even a single drop of snow moves down. अगर वहाँ पे रहता है तो see the individual leaf of a Christmas tree versus leaf of mango tree. हमारे यहाँ पे the leaf is very thin, वहाँ पे the leaf is extremely thick. Why is it so? So that it should protect the blood vessels inside from frostbite. यहाँ पे why our trees are this way? So that they can capture as much as sunlight as possible. वहाँ पे the trees do not have to worry about sunlight, they have to worry about the frostbite, and therefore they are conical in shape. Which is more dark green in color, Christmas tree or mango tree? Extremely dark green. Why is it so? Sunlight is very less in that region. So जितनी भी sunlight है उसको capture करके it has to make food, so that it has a more chlorophyll content. Fine with this? So take it down. Hence the natural vegetation has to survive. Hence the natural vegetation has to survive the frost. has to survive the frost. Therefore, trees belong to, the trees are softwood coniferous trees. Underline all the words. Softwood coniferous type, giving rise to evergreen coniferous biome, also known as taiga or boreal biome, also known as taiga or giving rise to evergreen coniferous biome known as taiga or boreal biome. Boreal biome, taiga or boreal biome. टाइगा के ऊपर क्या है? पोलर ईस्टर्लीज, और वो कौन सा बायोम है? टुंड्रा. वहाँ पे वेजिटेशन ही नहीं है, बहुत ही कम वेजिटेशन है. एक्सट्रीमली कोल्ड क्लाइमेट. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? सो व्हाट इज द कीवर्ड हियर? सॉफ्टवुड. मतलब हमारा ट्रीज आर हार्डवुड. आई गेस आई हैव टोल्ड यू द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस टू. सॉफ्टवुड, माचिस. माचिस की तीली सॉफ्टवुड. हार्डवुड, फर्नीचर. फर्नीचर कैनॉट बी मेड आउट ऑफ स्वीडन फ्रॉम फर्नीचर फ्रॉम स्वीडन. फर्नीचर आएगा इंडिया से, बर्मा से ही. और माचिस की तीली इंडिया के इससे नहीं बनेगी. द मैच बॉक्स विल बी वेरी हैवी. इट हैज़ टू बी सॉफ्टवुड. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? पेपर, सॉफ्टवुड. सॉफ्टवुड को जब प्रोसेस किया जाता है, उसके अंदर पेपर, वुड के साथ पेपर और गम और क्या क्या रॉ मटेरियल डाला जाता है. देन इट बिकम्स प्लाईवुड. दिस इज प्लाईवुड. यू विल नॉट फाइंड अ हार्डवुड इन दिस ऑफिस, बिकॉज ऑफिस में से ज़्यादा चोरी करके क्या नोट्स लेके जाएगा. बट यू विल फाइंड हार्डवुड इन योर हाउस. मेन दरवाज़ा, दैट इज हार्डवुड. एसी नहीं उतारेंगे क्योंकि रास्ते पे है. सो अंडरस्टैंडिंग. वी विल अगेन डू ऑल दिस थिंग्स इन एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी. इसमें से क्वेश्चन है, वाई लंबरिंग इज नॉट एन इंपॉर्टेंट ऑक्यूपेशन इन द ट्रॉपिकल रीजन. क्यों? हार्डवुड है. वाई लंबरिंग इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ऑक्यूपेशन इन द हायर लैटिट्यूड्स? क्योंकि सॉफ्टवुड है. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? लंबरिंग इज कटिंग डाउन ऑफ ट्रीज. यस. क्लाइमेट चेंज होते ही बायोम चेंज हो जाएगा. पोलर ईस्टर्लीज. द पोलर ईस्टर्लीज. extremely cold winds. Extremely cold winds. Which originate from the polar high pressure belt, are known as polar easterlies. Polar easterlies are extremely strong. कब प्रेशर डिफरेंस ज़्यादा होगा? विंटर्स में, समर्स में. कब ये हाई प्रेशर विल बी एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रॉन्ग हाई प्रेशर? विंटर्स में. एंड देयरफॉर विंड्स वहाँ से ज़्यादा पावरफुल होगी. सो द पोलर ईस्टर्लीज आर एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रॉन्ग ड्यूरिंग द विंटर सीजन. and hence are responsible for violent and deadly winds, known as blizzards, which affect the southern states of USA. क्यों USA? क्यों नहीं India? Southern state of USA and India are at the same latitudes. Because North America is and South America is the only continent. South America में फर्क नहीं पड़ता because Antarctica is very far. But this is Canada. यहाँ से they will originate and come. And this is the only continent which does not have east-west mountain barrier. हमारे यहाँ पे Alps, फिर हिमालयस, हिमालयस के ऊपर ट्रांस हिमालयस, कुनलुन शान, अल्तुन शान, तेन शान. So the winds cannot reach, but that is not the condition in USA. So even if the winds originate in this region, they will come up to southern states of USA. हमारे यहाँ पे the winds from Mongolia etc. are blocked by Himalayas. They are blocked. Otherwise, India would have been a cold desert had there been no Himalayas. But यहाँ पे this is what the wind I was talking. It will. They are, what is the word? Deadly. They are fatal. जैसे loo is fatal, वैसे they are deadly. Fine with this? So these are all the winds. Which winds? The permanent winds. अब उसके बाद secondary winds. So you note down in the bracket somewhere, because North and South America do not have east-west mountain barrier. So monsoon. What do you understand by monsoon? सबसे पहले क्या है monsoon? हाँ? What is monsoon? What is your idea of monsoon? Season. Any other? Monsoon मतलब क्या आता है आपके इसमें? Rain. और when I say monsoon type of climate means what? India is going to experience, this year's monsoon has been deficient. अगर ये न्यूज़पेपर में आता है, और monsoon is expected to strike India in the normal days. मतलब वो उस monsoon की बात कर रहा है, southwest monsoon. Fine? मतलब monsoon मतलब rain. In common man's language, yes, but geographically, no. 2015 का आपका इसीलिए क्वेश्चन भी था. Monsoon मतलब क्या? Monsoon means any wind which takes U-turn, means which experiences seasonal reversal in direction. Summers में south-west monsoon and winters में northeast. कितने डिग्री का डिफरेंस है? 180 degree. That means U-turn. So monsoon basically means winds which experience seasonal reversal in the direction of, that is 180 degrees. So that is the definition. So monsoon means winds which experiences seasonal reversal bracket में 180 degrees in its direction, seasonal reversal in its direction. The monsoon type of climate is present in, कहाँ है monsoon type of climate? South Asia, Southeast या South Asia? South Asia, Southeast नहीं, South Asia, mainland Southeast Asia, also known as French East Indies, which includes Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. क्यों French East Indies? They were French colonies. Which was British East Indies? हम, इंडिया, म्यांमार, उसके बीच में थाईलैंड, बफर, जैसे इंडिया एंड चाइना के बीच बफर आया नेपाल एंड भूटान, नो एन एशियन कंट्री विच वॉज नेवर अंडर एनी ऑक्यूपेशन, एंड उसके बाद फ्रेंच ईस्ट इंडीज. म्यांमार, इट विल नॉट कम इन फ्रेंच ईस्ट इंडीज, इसलिए अलग से लिखना पड़ेगा. थाईलैंड, and North Australia. North Australia. North. Entire North. जिसलिए हम देखो फिर से, नॉर्थ ऑस्ट्रेलिया, ये भी पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन है. नॉर्थ ईस्ट भी था उसमें ऑप्शन और नॉर्थ भी था. सो एंटायर नॉर्थ ऑस्ट्रेलिया. नेक्स्ट, this type of climate gets maximum rainfall in 4 to 4 months in a year. In 4 months. क्या खासियत है मॉनसून टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट की? रेस्ट ऑफ द सीजन इज ड्राई. हमारे यहाँ पे बाकी सिर्फ 4 महीने में पूरे साल भर का रेनफॉल. रेस्ट ऑफ द सीजन इज ड्राई. रिमेंबर, दिस इज नॉट द कंडीशन इन ऑल ईच एंड एवरी पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. हर एक का क्लाइमेट इज डिफरेंट. ऐसे नहीं कि सब जगह जो बारिश हो रही है सिर्फ 4 महीने में ही हो रही है. जून जुलाई इज द इम्पॉर्टेंट रेनफॉल वाला सीजन ओनली फॉर अस. डोंट गो एंड इन जर्मनी सेइंग कि बहुत बारिश होगी छाता लेके जा रहे हो. सो दैट इज एन डिफरेंट कंडीशन. ब्रिटेन रोज रेनफॉल, सिंगापुर डेली रेनफॉल, सहारा नो रेनफॉल. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? सो that is the monsoon means 4 months of rainfall, annual rainfall in 4 months. Next, there is a slight modification of monsoon type of climate which is known as tropical marine type, which is known as tropical marine type, slight modification of monsoon type of climate, known as tropical marine type, which similar to monsoon type, experiences seasonal reversal in wind direction, but has precipitation throughout the year, rainfall throughout the year, or rainfall throughout the year with summer maximum. एंड कौन से रीजन है ये? दिस इज द रीजन. क्या सिर्फ डिफरेंस है? ए वन इज ड्राई इन द रेस्ट ऑफ द सीजन, वन इज मॉइस्ट. दोनों में मैक्सिमम रेनफॉल इज ड्यूरिंग समर सीजन. दोनों का सिमिलैरिटी इज इट एक्सपीरियंसेस सीजनल रिवर्सल ऑफ विंड्स. The only difference is Brazil, Horn of Africa, Caribbean and Madagascar will receive rainfall throughout the year. हमें rainfall होता है during the summer season. But base दोनों का है seasonal reversal of wind. You will understand why it is marine type of climate. So you see, दोनों regions are important for agriculture. Whether it is Caribbean, sugarcane, Brazil, coffee, India, tea, based on the climatic conditions. Caribbean, Madagascar and remaining part of Africa, South Africa, etc. wala region, again sugarcane. Now understand what is monsoon. Don't write anything. क्योंकि हम सिर्फ 1% करने वाले हैं मानसून का, 10% करने वाले मानसून का, 90% जेट स्ट्रीम्स के बाद इंडियन ज्योग्राफी के साथ बचा हुआ, मतलब जेट स्ट्रीम्स बचा है, अल नीनो बचा है, इंडियन ओशन डाइपोल बचा है, हीटिंग ऑफ टिबेटियन प्लाटू बचा है, उसके बाद मानसून समझ में आएगा. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू एन ओवरऑल आइडिया ऑफ व्हाट इज मानसून. सो वी हैव हाउ मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ क्लाइमेट इन इंडिया? कौन से 4? टेल आवर सीजन्स. क्लाइमेट तो एक ही है हमारा. आवर क्लाइमेट इज मॉनसून टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट. कौन सा सीजन है हमारा? वेदर सीजन. समर्स. टेल मी द मंथ. मार्च, अप्रैल टू मई. जून जुलाई कौन सा समर है? उसके बाद रेनी. कौन सा? जून, जुलाई, अगस्त टिल मिड सितंबर. उसके बाद ऑटम. कौन सा सीजन है? लॉजिकल. सो विंटर्स. सितंबर टू अक्टूबर इज विंटर. देन ऑटम. Anyone from South India has experienced autumn earlier? Autumn north में, south में मिड नवंबर. And fourth? Obviously winters will be cool only from December to Feb. Eastern Brazil. Unless asked in the exam specifically, role of easterly jet stream, role of El Nino La Nina, तो जो हम लिखेंगे, जो हम अभी करेंगे वही लिखना है. This is what is monsoon. Rest of the other things are additions on the monsoon. And अभी तक यूपीएससी ने इंडियन ओशन डाइपोल प्रीलिम्स के बाहर पूछा नहीं है. अल नीनो पूछा है मेंस में, जीएस में? आई डोंट, इस साल पूछा है. सो अल नीनो तक यूपीएससी रुकी हुई है. दे हैव, बट प्रीलिम्स में दे आस्क यू मस्करेनिस हाई, ईस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम का रोल, टिबेटियन प्लाटू का रोल. सो बट दे डोंट आस्क यू इंडियन ओशन डाइपोल. उसका रीज़न इज क्योंकि इंडियन ओशन डाइपोल रिसेंट फिनोमिना है, नॉट बिकॉज यूपीएससी डज नॉट वांट टू आस्क यू. अभी समझ में आया व्हाट इज इंडियन ओशन डाइपोल. सो मॉनसून यू शुड प्रिपेयर वेरी वेरी प्रॉपरली. हर साल क्वेश्चन आएगा रिगार्डिंग मॉनसून, इधर इन प्रीलिम्स और इन मेंस. So we will first start with the summer season. रिमोट नहीं है. पहले समर्स होने दो, फिर ऐसी विंटर्स में बंद कर देंगे हम. फर्स्ट विल स्टार्ट विद द समर सीजन. व्हाट हैपेंस इन द समर सीजन? The sun धीरे से start shifting towards the north. That is the, right now where is the sun? Sun is in the southern hemisphere. Right, though this is the tropic of Capricorn. I'm just using the tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degree south. And this is the 23.5 degree north. That is the tropic of Cancer. Which cuts India into two parts. So 23.5 degree north and 23.5 degree south. Now when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, we are having winters. The sun will start gradually shifting to the north in the month of Jan. It will start uska northward journey. I told you Lohri, we celebrate Lohri that day, or Makar Sankranti to celebrate the sun ka journey towards the north. Why? Heat and humidity, both are required for sustaining life in the tropics. As the sun, on the 21st of March, sun will come exactly on the equator. We celebrate that as equinox and New Year, etc. But after that, sun starts coming back to the northern hemisphere. So we will start, that is the sun will start coming towards the northern hemisphere. As the sun starts coming towards the northern hemisphere, India का surface starts gradually heating. Gradually heating, जहाँ पे sun है जिसके ऊपर, that part will get heated more. So the month of March is having a very good climate in the north of India, but the heating of peninsula starts in the month of March. Understanding why? Where is the sun in the month of March? Over the equator. and over the equator. So North India is nearer to the equator or Indian peninsula. Peninsula means this part of India. Is it nearer to the equator? Peninsular India is nearer to the equator, and therefore March is the hottest season in Kerala. Kerala ke liye, and in southern part of Karnataka. April becomes very, very hot in the central parts of peninsula, which includes Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra wala region. And in the month of May, the northern parts of the peninsula become very, very hot. There is a gradual heating of the earth's surface, that is in this region of India, that is gradually getting heated up. By the time of May, the entire India becomes very hot. Sabse pehle Kerala, southern tip, then the central part of India. So you'll see Orissa mein heat waves will start in the month of April. Telangana mein heat waves will start in the month of April, late April. Maharashtra, etc. region mein late April, but North India mein, that is north of India's May mein, heat waves will start, because the sun is taking time to get, the land is taking time to get heated as the sun is gradually covering uska distance. And as a result of this, entire India develops a low pressure zone. This is Himalayas. Entire India develops a low pressure zone. But this low pressure zone is very weak. It is not fully established. बाद में ये सब लिखना, पहले समझ लो what is the concept. The low pressure zone is not fully established. As the low pressure zone is not fully established, we do not have very strong wind system over India. And hence, if there are any winds which are present over India, they are in the form of local winds. They are in the form of local winds. How are these local winds? The local winds are in the form कि Arabian Sea is not that hot, but this in mainland India gets hotter, land versus sea. And इसीलिए the southern parts of the peninsula, ये high pressure है, ये low pressure है, fine. The land is very cool, very hot, while the surrounding Arabian Sea is normally cool, and therefore some winds, very weak winds, develop from high pressure to low pressure, which come from sea to the land. What is present here? Western Ghats. Wind will be forced to rise up, and therefore it gives rainfall, which are known by different names such as mango showers or blossom showers. Mango showers in Karnataka, blossom showers in Kerala and Karnataka. Why mango showers? Because after this rainfall, humidity increase hoti hai, which helps in early ripening of mangoes. After this showers, humidity increase hoti hai, which helps in early ripening of coffee plants, flowering of coffee plants. And therefore, these are known as mango and this blossom showers. In the North India, in the month of May, there is a presence of westerly jet stream. Abhi hai westerly jet stream? अभी है इंडिया के ऊपर वेस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम? यस. ईस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम विच कम्स इन द मंथ ऑफ अक्टूबर, इट इज प्रेजेंट ओवर इंडिया टिल द मंथ ऑफ मे. कहाँ से है ये जेट स्ट्रीम? दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग मॉनसून इज टू मच रिलेटेड. देयर इज अ विंड विच ब्लोज इन द अपर एटमॉस्फेयर, विच इज दिस सी, मेडिटरेनियन सी, ब्लैक सी, Caspian Sea, and there is a very strong wind which is coming in the upper atmosphere, and this is a jet stream which blows from west to east, and we will call this as westerly jet stream, which due to the presence of Himalayas is bifurcated into two parts. एक नॉर्थ में आता है, एक हिमालयास के साउथ में आता है, शिवालिक्स के, और एक हिमालयास के बीच जाता है. It picks up moisture from the Mediterranean Sea, it picks up moisture from the Black Sea, it picks up moisture from the Caspian Sea. When it goes to the north of the Himalayas, abhi winters में आता ही है. It is present from the month of November till the month of May. Just understand. समझ में आ रहा है? एक ऊपर हवा चल रही है, it is known as westerlies. कब से होती है? From the month of November till the month of May. अभी जब वो आएगी इंडिया में तो वो स्नोफॉल देगी, and you will realize there is a snowfall. अब जो आएगी वो साउथ में, वो रेनफॉल देगी. देखे गया है कि नहीं रेनफॉल इन विंटर्स? सो वेस्टर्लीज विल गिव रेनफॉल. कुछ दिन पहले पोल्यूशन कैसे क्लियर हुआ? we did artificial rainfall या natural हुआ? From where it is? It is coming from, कहाँ का पानी है वो? Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea and Caspian Sea का, it comes to India. अब इन कश्मीर में जो snowfall हो रहा है कहाँ से हो रहा है? From where the moisture is there? Indus का थोड़ी water है वो. It is the moisture of Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. And this, therefore, they come to India from western side are known as western disturbances. So in this region, in the month of May, these winds are coming and India becomes so hot that this westerly jet stream या westerly winds which come to India, they become low pressure and they violently start behaving. So the third local wind which is found in this region is what is known as Andhi in North India, or what is known as Kal Baisakhi in West Bengal. Q, they are having moisture, but when they come to India, they become so hot that is these winds are forced to vertically rise up. When they are forced to rise up vertically, they will result into formation of cumulonimbus cloud. Cumulonimbus cloud का base जो ये part है, that is very near to the ground, and उसका top is in tropopause. Vertically, the cumulonimbus cloud का height is somewhere around 8 to 9 kilometers vertically, and it is full of moisture. Because of this, it is black in color. Because it is black in color, it will block the sunlight. इसलिए the word is Kal. कब आता है? In the month of Vaishakh, and therefore Kal Baisakhi. क्या करता है ये सब? This will give very heavy रेनफॉल इन दोज पार्ट्स. पूरे इंडिया में नहीं होगा रेनफॉल. आंधी अगर दिल्ली में आई तो वेस्ट दिल्ली गेट्स रेनफॉल, ईस्ट दिल्ली डज नॉट गेट रेनफॉल. ऐसे बहुत बार होगा. सो दिस आर लोकल विंड्स विच आर डोमिनेटिंग हियर, एंड द अदर लोकल विंड विच डोमिनेट्स हियर इज द मोस्ट फेटल विंड, दैट इज लू. व्हाट इज लू? Heat waves. Lu is also known as heat waves. It is the fatal wind. क्या कहता है IPCC? लू का टेम्परेचर वैसे कितना होता है? 45 to 50 डिग्री सेल्सियस. These winds are having a temperature. कहाँ से आ रहा है इतना हाई टेम्परेचर? Deserts. पाकिस्तान से नहीं, deserts से. So this is the region of a desert. So it is having high temperature. So this is Lu. And what does IPCC say? IPCC says that if India does the same kind of global warming, by 2050, Lu ka temperature will be 65 to 70 degrees Celsius. Impossible for us to survive. इसलिए take seriously the Paris Agreement. देखा, एक एग्रीमेंट है जिसका इंडिया कह रहा है कि हमारे 2 टारगेट्स ऑलरेडी रेडी है. Why we are worrying so much about Paris Agreement? Why we are focusing on this? Otherwise, इंडिया का एग्जिस्टेंस खत्म है if we do not act on climate change. Climate change is a reality, and this Lu, thunderstorms, Kal Baisakhi will become more and more dangerous over with the coming years. इस साल आंधी नहीं थी, इस साल बारिश नहीं थी, तो उसके पहले धूल उड़ी थी. And we have seen in this year current affairs में a new thing has come, that is a dust storms. So this is the summer season. Extremely hot, 40 to 45 degrees Celsius is an average temperature in this region. Now when the sun comes here, with the coming up of June, the sun will come here, and with the sun coming here, this belt ITCZ is an imaginary line. It is this is the equator, और हम कहते हैं equator is the low pressure belt. But in reality, what is a low pressure belt? जो सबसे ज़्यादा गर्म है region, that is a low pressure belt. Understanding everyone? कोई भी डाउट है तो पूछो, बाद में ये सब रिपीट नहीं होगा, फिर you will forget what is ITCZ. ITCZ is a low pressure belt. Low pressure belt, imaginary low pressure belt means which the region which is very hot, it is thermally induced. अब sun अगर यहाँ पे है तो क्यों होगा यहाँ पे low pressure? Low pressure will be just below the sun, and therefore we say in Indian geography that with the sun coming to the north of India, the ITCZ will shift to the north. This is how ITCZ will shift to the north. कल ही लिखा था हमने ITCZ will occupy a position which is here in the north of India. लिखा था कि नहीं? And what is ITCZ? A zone of convergence of winds. कौन सी winds? Trade winds from the northern hemisphere and the trade winds from the southern hemisphere. अब this and in the month of June, 21 जून को ITCZ will shift, जो इंडियन एस्ट्रोलॉजिस्ट्स कहते हैं या एस्ट्रोनॉमी कहते हैं मृग नक्षत्र आ गया है. मृग नक्षत्र मीन्स ITCZ हैज शिफ्टेड. सो कभी भी 21 जून को बारिश नहीं होती. बारिश कभी जुलाई में जाती है, कभी जून 15 में जाती है, बिकॉज सन को 21 जून नहीं फॉलो करना है. ITCZ कभी भी फॉर्म हो सकता है. वाई इट विल वेट कि 21 जून बाकी है, आई विल नॉट शिफ्ट टू इंडिया. इट इज डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हीटिंग ऑफ द लैंड. So as soon as this will come, can I say the entire India में low pressure system has very well developed? But what is the pressure system in the southern hemisphere? Winter season. Winter season means high pressure. पूरे इसमें where is the land? Either in Africa or either in Australia. And therefore Australia will be having a very proper high pressure system, because land will have differential heating and cooling. And therefore what do we see is the law of wind. Wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure, but Coriolis force says that it will get converted to which side? In the left side in the southern hemisphere. अब this wind will come एंड देखेगा अरे कहाँ ITCZ तो इंडिया के ऊपर है, तो मतलब उसको इक्वेटर क्रॉस करना पड़ेगा. सो वंस इट क्रॉसेस द इक्वेटर, बिकॉज इट हैज टू रीच हियर नॉट हियर, इट व्हाट इज द लॉ ऑफ विंड? इट विल गेट डिफ्लेक्टेड टू द राइट हैंड साइड. एंड व्हेन इट गेट्स डिफ्लेक्टेड टू द राइट हैंड साइड, वी कॉल दिस एज साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून. And then it will come to India, it will go to Myanmar, and यहाँ पे म्यांमार में हिमालयास का कोई पार्ट है, अराकान, योमा, इसको वो क्रॉस नहीं कर सकता. सो इट वाज डिफ्लेक्टेड टुवर्ड्स आसाम, मेघालय, गिविंग वेरी वेरी हाई रेनफॉल इन गारो, खासी, जैंतिया. सम पार्ट ऑफ इट गोज टुवर्ड्स लाओस, कंबोडिया एंड वियतनाम. Now when it comes towards India, wind किसको ढूंढ रहा है? Low pressure. Wind is searching low pressure. Which is the hottest part of India? This part or this part? Northwest India, Rajasthan, etc. So when वो जाता है इधर, ये wind देखता है कि अरे low pressure तो इधर है. So it enters the Great Plains, and as a result of this it comes here. दूसरा इसका you can say branch, Arabian Sea branch आता है, केरला को स्ट्राइक करता है, and after that it gives very very heavy rainfall here. It enters the narrow rift valley formed by which are the two mountains, Vindhyas and Satpuras, and gives very heavy rainfall in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand. इतना heavy rainfall that the region is known as Dandakaranya Plateau. Dand means dense, Aranya means forest. Dandakaranya Plateau. The third branch of the southwest monsoon, Western Ghats, Vindhyas, Satpuras, Aravalis, goes parallel to Aravalis and gives very heavy rainfall to entire Himalayas. And due to the presence of Himalayas, उसके बाद it will get deflected to the and thus the rainfall will keep on increasing. Thus ये पूरे इंडिया में rainfall, this region receives rainfall, but यहाँ पे आते आते what has finished? Moisture has finished, and therefore we have here is the Thar desert. यहाँ पे it crosses the Western Ghats. After crossing the Western Ghats, it is forced to come down. So whenever I told you, whenever the wind is forced to come down, rainfall या no rainfall, dry conditions. रेनफॉल हो रहा है एसी में से नहीं, विंड इज फोर्स टू कम डाउन, इट विल ऑलवेज प्रमोट ड्राई कंडीशंस. सो वी हैव व्हाट इज नोन एज द ड्रॉट प्रोन रीजन ऑफ इंडिया. परसों ही सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने अब यहाँ के 22,000 विलेजेस में ड्रॉट डिक्लेयर किया है ऑफिशियली. सो दिस इज द ड्रॉट प्रोन रीजन ऑफ इंडिया. Wind is coming in this direction, southwest monsoon, so it bypasses Tamil Nadu. When it comes here, it cannot cross the Arakan Yoma mountains, so it is bifurcated towards India. And then it will give the rainfall to entire region except Tamil Nadu. So this is the rainy season. Just tell me, how have you understood these two seasons? Why? What is monsoon? Therefore, we have written monsoon winds. Trade winds का last point याद रखना. Monsoon winds are nothing but the trades of southern hemisphere, which cross the equator, and due to the Coriolis force, they are deflected towards India as southwest monsoon. Getting this? Ab, the sun after after in the month of October, September, 23 September के बाद sun धीरे धीरे वापस जाता है. And thus ITCZ starts shifting. So dheere dheere monsoon starts withdrawing from India, and this is what we will call this as a retreating monsoon. But what happens during this season is सबसे late monsoon comes in North India and सबसे early it withdraws from North India. Why? It is nothing but based on the position of sun. So in the month of October, North India becomes very dry, but because the sun is not there, so there are no clouds in the sky. Clouds will be present only if there is low pressure. There is no sun, so there are no low pressure. There is no, sorry, the sun is, there is no low pressure. ITCZ नीचे हट गया, so there are no clouds, and because there are no clouds, sun rays are directly hitting the North India, and they are very strong. But due to early 3 months of rainfall, there is enough water vapor in the ground to trap the heat. So sun ka heat is taken by the ground, ground converts it into the terrestrial radiation, and this terrestrial radiation is trapped by the water vapor. So during the daytime, in the month of retreating monsoon, temperature इतना ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है that you call this famous as October heat. रात में पर ठंड आना शुरू हो जाती है. We had experienced the same thing. October heat some days back. But this is the time, because of the differential heating of land and the sea गर्म होना शुरू हो जाता है. Understanding, the sea will take time to get hot. Land is becoming cool, but the sea becomes hot, and therefore sea becomes hot. Therefore, tropical cyclones originate in this season. So tropical cyclones कहाँ पे? Both in the Bay of Bengal and in the Arabian Sea. But tropical cyclones always move from west to east to west. So whatever they originate here, they come towards India. Whatever they originate here, they go away from India into Oman, Pakistan, or some other regions. So which coast of India is more prone to tropical cyclones? Eastern coast. Gaza, eastern coast, Tamil Nadu. जितना लेट होगा ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन, उतना चांसेस है इट इज गोइंग टू हिट तमिलनाडु. जितना अर्ली होगा ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन, दैट इज इन द मंथ ऑफ अक्टूबर, दैट मीन्स इट विल ओरिजिनेट हियर. इट इज गोइंग टू हिट ओडिशा और आंध्र प्रदेश. इन द मंथ ऑफ डिसम्बर, it is going to hit Tamil Nadu. Why? Because in the month of December, this ocean has started cooling, but this is comparatively warmer because sun is somewhere nearby. Understanding this? And when the sun goes back, so dheere se this low pressure starts getting converted into high pressure, and thus we say winters have started to arrive in India. But winters do not come in southern part of India, because you can see the shape of India is tapering, and therefore there is more dominance of ocean. Water ki heat is given to the surroundings, but North India gets converted into high pressure. There is a heavy snowfall in Himalayas. The temperature drops in the northwestern part of India, while when the sun on 23rd of December will be on the Tropic of Capricorn, ITCZ जो पहले north में shift हुआ था, it will shift to the south, and this will get converted into low pressure. Again, the same law of wind. Wind will flow from high pressure to low pressure. But these winds originate on the land, and therefore these are dry winds. Then and we will call this as north-east monsoon. After crossing the equator, they will get deflected to the left. This is deflection to the right. See, deflection is to the right, and then they will get deflected to the left, and these winds will take up all the moisture and hit the North Australia, causing monsoon type of climate in the North Australia. But have you realized one thing is whether the winds were in the original direction of this way, जब यहाँ पे summers था, or now they are coming here, this region को फायदा है क्योंकि उसको rainfall होने ही वाला है. This is tropical marine type of climate, a slight modification of tropical monsoon. क्या difference है marine type and monsoon type? Seasonal rain, seasonal winds. यहाँ पे seasonal winds but rain throughout the year. That is, चाहे winds is coming from Australia to India, it is going to hit here, giving rainfall. Whether the wind is coming from here to here, it is hitting here and giving the rainfall. That is tropical marine type of climate. Understanding this? And this is monsoon. Most of India is dry because the winds are originating over the Himalayas or north or over the land. But some of the winds which originate here in Myanmar, etc., they will travel over the Bay of Bengal, pick up the moisture, and after picking up the moisture, they will give rainfall to Tamil Nadu and some parts of Andhra Pradesh. And hence, most of the India is dry during the winters, except Tamil Nadu. जैसे ही winters आता है, वैसे westerly jet stream starts coming back to India, and it will give rainfall, some rainfall over here. So basically this is monsoon, but a very simple idea of monsoon. Yeah, इसलिए हम monsoon नहीं लिखेंगे अभी. But have you understood what is monsoon? But इसकी ज़रूरत मुझे पड़ेगी in Indian geography भी और एक jet streams में भी. Jet streams हम कल करेंगे. So any doubt here? South Asia मतलब पाकिस्तान भी, everything.